the distant horizon, I see the sun arising as adventure calls out my name. Where dreams dwell, where the road leads, no one can tell. It's a spirit ride, far and wide. Tales wait to be told, your mind's an open road. Your brain is a galaxy. Faces and places like flowers they unfold. Your heart is your guide in the universe, far and wide. Far and wide, far and wide. Let your spirit soar, far and wide. Far and wide. Let your dreams carry you into the wild blue. Let yourself fly, far and wide. Far and wide, far and wide. Let your spirit soar, far and wide. Far and wide. Let your dreams carry you into the wild blue. Let yourself fly, far and wide.
Once again, Davey Davis here. I'm your host of Far and Wide, a show that takes you down roads that lead to interesting faces and places. Today, the road has led me to Carlos Ocasio here at the Skunk Hollow Taverm. And Carlos, we don't have any script. We don't have makeup. We don't have an agenda. The only agenda is goodwill.
Yeah.
Connecting people, connecting humanity with all the wonderful skills that people have, such as yourself. Now, I remember you and I were just talking. We'd met years ago, and briefly played right here one night. And then one night, I was riding somewhere listening to VPR.
And yeah, the Dick McCormick show.
The Dick on the Veranda, yeah. And I heard you, and I just went, "Wow, that is wonderful!" Because I always have an ear for, somebody who's unique and just wonderfully unusual, and you certainly are. And thanks for being on the show today.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Now, your last name, did I say it right? Ocasio?
Ocasio.
Ocasio.
Just like an Irishman. Yep.
Just like an Irishman. Now, you were born in Puerto Rico.
No, Syracuse, New York.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Did you go to Puerto Rico at all, or you just...
The first time I went there was I was 10 years old. First time I ever gone there. My parents are from, they were born. The top half of my family was born there. I'm at the bottom half. So the rest of us were born in the States. So that's how that went. But yeah. I grew up in the States.
Roots in Puerto Rico.
The roots are there.
I remember a heavyweight fighter. He wasn't real heavy, but he was in the heavyweight division. His name was Ocasio.
Ozzy Ocasio. Supposedly my father's second cousin.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's...
However that works. But, you'd have to go down the family tree to prove that one. I'm not sure if that's true, but... They claim he was a cousin of his, removed a couple of times.
Yeah. So, my great-great-uncle, Arthur, spent years and farmed in Puerto Rico. And I can't tell you where, but this was way back when. He lived in Puerto Rico for most of his life. He graduated from Dartmouth, and he used to walk 40 miles to get to school. He really did. I mean, people talk about that, but he did. And it's interesting that he was in Puerto Rico. But tell me a little bit about your life. How everything generated, from where you... Now, Syracuse, you said?
Syracuse, I call myself the ghetto child. I grew up in a ghetto. We grew up in a ghetto. We were the only Hispanic family pretty much in that city for a long time before others started showing up. You know, my father showed up there in the, I'm gonna guess in the late 40s, 48, 49, somewhere around in there. And, you know, it was pretty much a white-black community at the time. You know, there wasn't a lot of, like it is now. I mean, there's a little bit of everything there now, but, you know, grew up pretty poor. Black neighborhood, and on the south side of Syracuse, which looks like a bomb went off there now, and it's a lot worse than it was when I was a kid even.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of, you know, it's hit hard times without a doubt. And you know, it went back and forth from one neighborhood to the next, you know, and my parents finally bought a house, you know, and which, you know, and you get into the working community and stuff like that, and then I started moving on, you know. Lived in Florida for a little while, you know, went up until I was about 30 years old before I decided to make the move up here to Vermont, you know. But a lot of it was, I was in a real heavy music scene down there as a kid. Started when I was 15, 16 years old. Opened up for a couple of national acts and stuff like that, you know, with a band that I was in at the time, and
wow.
we were a pretty good band for considering how young we were. And then I got in with an older group of guys that were a pretty established band, and did a lot of singing and stuff with them. And you know, and then we used to call it the Chitlin circuit. You know, you did Utica, Rochester, Albany. You know, you just did that whole little loop, Syracuse, Buffalo, but you just went all around. There was all these little communities like Sodus, New York, and, you know, Ithaca, Cornell, all that area in there. So we just, you know, we had the usual band stories, you know, the rickety Volkswagen van that you froze coming home at night from gigs, no heat in it, you know.
Yeah.
So we did all of that, you know. I did all of that pretty much till I got burned out. You know, and I'm gonna guess I got burned out when I was 26, 25 years old. I had really had enough, you know, but that was after 10 years of constantly playing. So I put it down for a while. And then I got up to Vermont, and, you know, we got this place, and, you know, kind of concentrated on that. And I had gotten out of music for, you know, a long time. Gretchen bought me an acoustic guitar for my birthday one year, you know, and I'd play it, but I didn't play it. I wasn't, you know. It was Joe Stahlsmith that got me back into this game.
God bless Joe.
Yeah. He heard me one night just diddling around and asked me how come I don't play, and why don't I play at his open mic. And I said, no, I don't perform anymore. That's, you know, yeah, you know, you're still young, you should be playing. No, you should be sharing your music, you know. He pushed till finally I said, all right, I'll do one. And the next thing I know, he had me doing some gig up in Lebanon, a club that's not even there anymore, for opening up for somebody. And then I'm opening up for the Boneheads, and then, you know, so on and so on. It's
yeah.
like, okay, here we go again. Because, you know, Gretchen's thing was, I said, well, you know, I really think I'm going to get a band back together. And she said, oh, no, not again. Oh boy.
So she was familiar with you. Now Gretchen is your wife, obviously,
Yeah.
and she is Lou Smertz's sister, and you guys are partners here at this Skunk Hollow Taverm,
Right.
which
Yeah.
has been a great place for years.
Yeah.
Great venue for you know, musicians and
Yeah, we've been pretty
patrons.
fortunate. I mean, we've been here for 18 years as of, you know, pretty much going on 19.
Wow.
So, you know,
Terrific
it's a
place,
long
nice
time.
atmosphere, nice
Yeah.
energy you guys generate. Great. So Gretchen was familiar with you playing before.
Oh, I think she's been familiar with, you know, bands and that sort of thing. You know, she was in a band when she was younger too, so,
No kidding.
you know, everybody knows like the band dynamics and stuff like that. It's like, you know, they're not easy. You know, being in bands, there's a lot of politics
It's like
involved.
being married.
Yeah, you know, and so I put together Fry Daddy, which went for a long, I had a really good run. You know, we took a year off last year. We're starting it back up again now, and, you know, we needed to the time off. We cut a CD, and you know, it really took off when we cut the CD. You know, it really, you know. And we were gigging 3-4 times a weekend. I mean, every weekend, and you know, which is great. I mean, it had us in a nice flow, you know, and it's what everybody wanted to do. But then you get tired, you know. I mean, it just you got to take some time off, and so I decided, you know, it was a good time to take some time off. It just because I wanted to continue playing. I didn't want to, you know, say I hate it and take 10 years off. You know, I didn't want to go to gigs cringing. You know, I wanted to go to gigs feeling good and stuff like that. Rejuvenated, yeah. Gives me time to sit back and write, reflect, you know, get original material back together and stuff like that. I like doing a lot of original material when I go out. And, you know, a lot of people that you play for and stuff like that, that's one of the main questions at weddings or, you know, private parties. Do you do a lot of covers? You know, do you do original stuff or you just do covers, you know? And I like to say 50-50. I like to keep it that way because I like to keep people interested and say, oh, they recognize a song that you're playing by Keb Mo or something like that.
Yeah.
You're doing a cover or one of his covers and people like it, or, you know, something different that's Latin, a rock version of La Bamba or something, you know, and that that kind of stuff. But you also want to introduce people that have heard your CD and say, oh, if they come to you and say, I really like this song on the CD, you want to play it. You know, you want to be able to play that stuff and feel comfortable playing it as well. You know? So that's what I'm in the process of right now. Is, you know, trying to write. I'd love to do a solo CD, and you know, I have some stuff that reflects that. I think, you know, where it's not so band involved.
Yeah.
Day job. I still do my day job, but I like going out on weekends, and you know, I love doing weddings and stuff like that. You know, it's like you're really pleasing people is what you're doing, you know.
It's a joyous day for them, and then you please them more with the sounds.
Yeah, you're taking care of business, you know, and you have to assure them that everything's going to be all right, and you know, you're going to get their people dancing and everybody's going to have a good time. And that's, you know, that's where it's at, you know, and that's what you do, you know.
It's a wonderful thing, and get paid for it.
Yeah, you get paid. It's always great if you can get paid for something you like doing, you know.
Especially because you've already been paid just because you love it.
Yeah.
And you're doing what you love, and then on top of that, they add some money.
Yeah.
It's really very nice. So, now your day job.
Chef.
Yeah.
You know.
You have a famous chicken Carlos.
Yeah.
I've had it, and it's great, folks, let me tell you. And I don't have to tell people to come to the Skunk Hollow because they come here.
Yeah.
You're packed all the time.
Yeah.
You guys have such a nice energy, you and Lou. It's so evident. You know, there's a warmth here that you don't find that often in this world.
And Gretchen.
And Gretchen.
Yeah, there's 3 of us.
Yeah. Did you meet Gretchen before you met Lou?
Yeah.
You did. That's how you met Lou. And then you guys were like, where were you then?
We were living in Syracuse.
You were in Syracuse.
Yeah.
For some reason I thought you were in Chicago at one time.
No, never been there. Only to the airport, and that was my worst nightmare. Because I got lost in there.
At O'Hare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And missed the flight, but other than that, yeah. That's call it a terminal. Yeah. Getting left behind. No, we met in Syracuse, and we were together a few years before we ended up coming up to Vermont and getting here, you know, all of us were in the restaurant business, so, you know, that's how that went. You know, like saying, hey, you know, what the hell, you know, things just weren't moving fast enough for me in Syracuse anymore. I was, you know, I had been a head chef here and and took over a place for a guy that, you know, and he liked the work ethic type thing, but, you know, after a while it's like, okay, where am I going with this thing? You know, I need something else. And I guess that's what a lot of people feel in life, you know. It's like, what's the next challenge? You know. And
the next
challenge.
Yep.
Yeah. You know.
What to do next?
And climbing the ladder, because I started out in the, you know, the school of hard knocks of cooking. You know, just a guy coming up to me and saying, hey, you ever consider cooking? sure, why not? You know, and that's pretty much how I started. So, you know, just move on from one restaurant to a better restaurant to the better restaurant. You know, you work with some great chefs and stuff like that, learn a lot, teach you a lot. Some take you under their wing and really show you the ropes, and you just, you know, if you do something long enough, you're bound to get good at it.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. You know, you're gonna get good at it. So.
And when you guys decided to come to Vermont, I mean, why Vermont? Of course, I know, I grew up here.
Oh, because this place, it was for sale, and Gretchen saw it, came up with her mom and saw it and fell in love with it. And, you know, I tell you, when I first got here, the first week I was here, I went, oh no, what did I do? You know, it was in January, and you know, and this snowbanks on the side of the road. It was back 85, 86, and the snowbanks are like 20 feet high, unbelievably cold. I mean, Syracuse is cold too, but you know, I was like, my God, I've never seen so much snow in my life, you know, and Syracuse is a snow belt, but I guess it's the way they plowed things here or whatever, and you know, so much different. Like I've never lived in the country. You've always been able to step outside my door and walk down to a pool room, or you know, walk down and grab a 6-pack and a pack of cigarettes. You know, it's like here it was like, if you don't have a car, forget it. You know, and it was such a culture shock. You know, that for the first year I really, you know, was asking myself, boy, am I really gonna make it here? You know, and now I love it. You know, it didn't take long after like saying, you know what, you find the peacefulness of a place like Vermont, and then it's hard to turn back. You know, the less I went back to Syracuse, the more I appreciated Vermont. You know, because when I first got here, I'd go back and visit my kids. I'd go back and visit my family. You know, it's like I still couldn't cut the apron string.
Yeah.
And as time went by, you know, it got to the point where this really became home. You know, and I love the peacefulness of it and the tranquility and all the other, you know, long winters, but if you live in the Northeast, you're going to have long winters anyway, right?
Yeah.
You want short winters, move to Florida.
Yep. It comes with the territory.
Yeah, it comes with the territory.
That was a trade-off. And,
yeah.
This is great. I mean, you have a nice life with the, you know, being a chef, being a great musician, and also playing golf.
Yeah. Like to get out there and swing a little bit, you know, and pull my hair out, you know. It's just if you want to add a little stress to your years, you know, play golf. Take up the game of golf. Yeah. You know, took that game up a couple of years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago, you know, and then quit and said, I can't play this game, you know. Then kept going back and trying, you know, like saying, oh, you know, you're not doing so bad today, you know, go back the next day and go, I quit again, you know, and one of those, you know, but now I look at the other side of it. I enjoy it. I am outdoors when I'm playing. I'm walking, I'm exercising. So I love that part about it. There's a good bunch of guys I play with and stuff like that, you know, so it can be fun too, you know. You don't have to, once I realized that, you know, you don't have to challenge yourself or push yourself to the point where you're going to go nuts. That's what I thought it was, you know, when I first started playing golf. And I played with, you know, all of us have played with some hotheads. And I said, oh, this is what you're supposed to do if you miss. Oh, you throw your club.
Throw your clubs, your bag, whatever.
You know, it's like, nah, that's not what you're supposed to do. You know, you're just supposed to say, okay, I'm going to do better next time around. It's like, yeah, you know. So if you can find that part of it, then, you know, it still can be frustrating though, as we all know. Anybody that's played the game can, you know, it's like any other sport, you know. You're trying to excel at it, and if you don't, sometimes it gets a little weary, you know.
Seems like a lot of musicians play golf.
Yeah, I wonder why.
You know, like national musicians, I know that.
Well, maybe it's a release. Could be, you know.
I think they like that challenge of melding the physical and the mental together.
Yeah.
It's very, very exacting, and it's a challenge for each individual.
Yeah, it is, no doubt about that. You know.
Well, why don't we...
I'll go back in time with an old BB King. I've been leaning back towards old blues and stuff again. I've never gotten away from them, but I'm getting more back into them since my wife got me this thing for my birthday a few years ago. And I said, Al, I never did play slide, but I always liked guys that played slide, you know. It's like, I mean, isn't that really cool? I should try that one day, you know. And so here I am, you know, 30 years later. By a campfire and everybody's having a good time, and yet the end of the evening. I've got a sweet little angel. I love the way she spread her wings. A sweet little angel. I love the way she spread her wings. She spread a lot of wings around me, and I just join everything. My baby quit me. I believe I would die. My baby quit me. I believe I would die. You don't love me, little angel. Please tell me the reason why. You know, when you're sitting out around a campfire and stuff like that, and you have a few guitars with you, it seems like my bud, they all goes, why don't you get that old slidey thing that you play, you know? So there's something about that people love to hear the blues. Maybe it just gets them back in their own little sorrow and gets people reminiscing or whatever, you know, and see what I do with mine. Yeah, you won't fall asleep like that. always got to go to finish with some kind of Latin and the ode, which I never learn all the words to, but I always know some of the words. And you know, my sisters and stuff, I say, boy, I really like that old-fashioned Spanish music, you know, not growing up on the island and stuff like that, but remembering my father when he had the old 78s and stuff, and even some of that stuff is coming back out of Cuba and stuff like that, out of the Caribbean, and people here are just, you know, sucking it right up. I remember listening to that at Christmas time as a kid, you know, when I was a very young kid. Still remembering some of the lyrics to them. And it's like talking about a skinny crab that don't have no meat on it, you know?
Times are hard.
Yeah, that's right.
You play a lot of, well, percussion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm doing an instrumental CD and you played some congas on there.
Yeah.
And sounds great. So you have all this talent, all these things you can do. What else? Do you play regular trap kit or?
No, not really.
More congas and bongos? Or
yeah.
hand drums?
More hand percussion.
Yeah.
I love to play hand percussions and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a lot of that is, I feel like, came to me naturally anyway. It wasn't, you know, guitar was something I had to work really hard at. It's something I still work hard at, you know, and depending on what, you know, phase of music I want to go into. And with hand instruments and stuff like that, I have this natural rhythm that I think, you know, I was blessed with.
Yeah.
You know, that I never have a problem as far as that, you know. I mean, I enjoy playing them, but I don't feel like I have to go and practice really hard to be able to do these beats and stuff like that. It's like if I hear it one or two times and saying, okay, I got that, I can do that, all right, I got that,
Yeah.
you know. Which is, you know, it's a blessing, you know, and I hope I pass it on to my children as well, you know. I don't know who passed it on to me, because my father didn't play instruments, my mother didn't play instruments, you know, but somewhere along the line, I have a brother that played a lot when he was younger. He doesn't play anymore, but he played a lot of congas and stuff when he was younger. And I think we're the two in the family that, out of 11 children, you know, that really picked up instruments and went to town on them, that, you know, did the band thing and all that stuff, you know.
Wow.
It's a lot of kids for only two of them coming out of there doing it, but, you know, we do have a lot of musicians in the family that, you know, that, but a lot of them, you know, the younger ones these days have more gone to the recording with the loops and the hey, you want to hear my CD? I go, what are you playing on there? I go, nothing. It's all a machine, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, symposiums and...
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I guess it's a talent in itself because you got to be able to
Yeah.
program all that stuff somehow, you know? I mean, I wouldn't be any good at it, believe me. So I'm glad I have an instrument to play, you know, that
Yeah.
is self-gratifying, for sure.
I'm with you. I like this,
Yeah.
the earthy thing, but I respect anybody who's doing music and
Yeah.
in some form or another. It's definitely a way to unite us in this world and
Oh, yeah.
keep
no
us
doubt. Yeah.
more peaceful and socially, keep the social justice in hand.
Yeah.
You know, but, well, Carlos, what a pleasure. Thank
Well,
you
thank
for
you.
appearing on Far and Wide, and
Thanks for having me.
thank you for being on the CD that I'm doing. It's really appreciate it. It's an honor having you on there, and why don't you do another song, and
Yeah, we'll do one more, and then it looks like the sun's coming out. We haven't seen it in a week, and I might go put some golf clothes on. And,
you gotta go golfing.
yeah. Before I go to work. All right?
Yeah.
Everybody, what's the race? I'm not talking about your mighty, mighty race. I'm talking about you. You can talk about me. What's that you're hiding? What is that you see? Everybody, how's your space? I'm not talking about your mighty, mighty race. I'm talking about you. You can talk about me. What's that you're hiding? What is that you see? 1963 was a very bad year indeed. They knocked down my mama's door. Said we got a house full of Spanish hoes. Dragged my brother down to jail. You know I heard my mama wail. My daddy said don't nobody run. That white man, you know he got a gun. I said, what's the race? I'm not talking about no mighty, mighty chase. I'll talk about you. You can talk about me. What's that you're hiding? What is that you see? What's the race? What's the race? Here it is.
Couldn't find the hour. See you now.